What's up? It's been a while. So the new episodes of Dragon Ball Daima are out after a 1 week break. These are episodes 13 and 14. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say there's not a whole lot to talk about with episode 13. It was kind of a nothing episode. So it really to be honest, there's not a lot to talk about with either of the episodes, if we're being completely honest. So this one's going to be kind of short. Alright, so let's start with episode 13. So episode 13, really all that happened was they landed on another planet in the demon realm it's like home to these really giant beings. Like everything there is large. The plants are large, the bugs are large, the animals are large, the people that live there are humongous. So their ship broke down again, and at this point I think it's safe to assume that Glorio is doing this on purpose. They've had way too many ships break down, and it just seems like Glorio's probably doing this on purpose to buy time, because he wasn't aware at the moment whether or not Arinsu had the other Dragon Ball or not. So now that he knows that she has the other Dragon Ball and they have the remaining two, he can quote unquote complete whatever his mission is. So they're working on the ship or whatever, and this giant being, after a battle with giant hamsters or what. It's a weird episode. It's just a weird episode. A battle with giant hamsters. We see this giant, apparently kid, coming home from school, and he's got a bag with a giant ruler, a giant notebook and everything in it, and his dog, I guess it's a dog-like creature, comes up to him and everything. A battle ensues. I don't know what to tell you. It was a kind of a big nothing episode. They kind of battle this giant dog. They battle... I can't really say they battled the giant kid, because they kind of just avoid him and shoot a few blasts at him. Wasn't really much of a fight, really. They get the ship, good to go, get it off the ground, and they proceed. There's just not much to talk about with the episode. Episode 13, again, was a big nothing episode. Overall, I had a few chuckles along the way, but it was overall probably one of the more boring and uneventful episodes of the show so far. Certainly probably my least favorite episode by far. I give episode 13 a ranking, maybe a 5 or a 6 out of 10. I don't know. Somewhere in the middle. It wasn't what I expected, and it just wasn't entertaining enough, aside from a few chuckles here and there. It felt like a filler episode. They could have not had that episode, made the show one episode shorter, and I don't think anything would have changed. Now, the next episode, episode 14, actually a little bit did happen in that episode. So in episode 14, Goma has brought his elite fighting force, to potentially protect him from Goku and the others. And it's funny because it reminds me of the Ginyu Force. Everything about them. They're goofy. They do a little dance, and they announce their names and everything. It's just another version of the Ginyu Force. Yeah, only they have I don't even know how powerful exactly they're supposed to be. And I guess we won't know until we see them in real action, but they have weapons and stuff. Different weapons for each one. Goma tells them what their objective is and everything, and they kind of Degasu tells them that the people that they may have to fight are the ones who defeated the Tamagamis and Majin Buu. And they get really nervous. So that tells me right there, they're not even as strong as the Tamagamis and Majin Buu. So I doubt they'll be much of a threat for Goku and the others. Now, Goku and the others head to a warp, and Goma has had Degasu deactivate warp. I think he did that in the previous episode. And by the way, both episodes are very nice looking. The animation's really good in both of them. It's just episode 13 wasn't all that great. But warp's been disabled, so nobody can travel through warp from one demon world to the other. and presumably to even the outside world. But there is another way. Earlier in the show, we learned about these holes that connect the demon worlds, and they're guarded by a shield. No one can pass through. Well, it would seem that Neba can deactivate them, and that presumably, or rather it seems he is the one who put them up in the first place. So he does a little chant or whatever. Goku checks the shield out, by tapping it with his power pole. It gets electrocuted and he starts falling towards it and everything. Presumably he would die if he touches it, but Neba does this little chant, this sort of ritual, and releases like a ball of energy to both the shield above them and below them, because the holes are all in line with each other, and shrinks them down to nothing. So now the demon worlds are all three connected to each other. They're completely open again. He said that he put them up because the second demon world was getting a lot of visitors. Ruffians and bad people from the third demon world were coming into the second. And really arrogant, presumably powerful, and people with agendas coming from the first. And he said that's one of the reasons the Namekians left the second demon world, or the demon realm altogether, rather. And he said one of the reasons. So I'm sure there were multiple reasons for why the Namekians left. But anyways, he shrinks the shields down, and now they can pass into the first demon world without the use of warp. And so they fly into it, and the ship, it seems like the ship can't handle traveling through this tunnel. I don't know, it's like a lot of turbulence or something, a lot of energy. The atmosphere and stuff probably changes a little bit. The ship just can't handle it, so the ship's going down. So they all gotta abandon ship, jump out, and fly down to the first demon world. Goma and all of his troops and everybody realizes the shields are now down, and when they look, they see people coming through the hole in the sky. Vegeta's carrying Bulma, they got the Dragon Balls, everybody's flying down. And so they start attacking them, and that's basically where the episode ends. Not a ton happened in that episode either. It was definitely more important than 13, but both episodes were kind of nothing episodes. I really debated even kind of doing a review, because I'm like, there's really nothing to talk about for these episodes. There's nothing going on. I considers like, well, should I just wait for one more and then talk about them? But I wanted to go ahead and make this because it has been a few weeks since I put out a video, and I figured, screw it, let's just keep it going 2 episodes at a time, even if they're episodes that don't have a lot going on. I think what we can take away from these episodes, particularly the newest one, is that things are about to start picking up. I think the pace is about to start picking up. I think the action is about to start picking up. I think the plot is about to start picking up. I think everything is going to pick up the pace and start to get more interesting as we start to barrel towards the climax of the show. Because we should be, I assume we're over halfway through now. So I assume there's going to be around 24, maybe 26 episodes total. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet or not, but I assume we're over halfway through, so the climax should be coming soon. And I plan on rewatching the show in binge format when it's done to see if my opinion changes, because sometimes, even when like a new manga arc is coming out, as you read it, it's like, this is okay. But then if you read it all together at the end, it's like, okay, this is actually really good. There was just too much time between chapters, or in this case, episodes, for me to really appreciate the whole picture. It happens a lot. And I think a lot of people have experienced that. So I do think Daima has been good overall so far, but it does feel like it could have been better. But time will tell. There's still like half a show to go through, so things could get crazy between now and then, or they could not, and we'll have to wait and see, really. So since there wasn't much to talk about, I just kind of wanted to also use this video as an update on what's going on with me and the channel. So I have been working on my new myths, folklore, and anime video. It got a little delayed because I was dealing with a kidney stone for a few days. And then my wife went on vacation. I wanted to spend that week with her uninterrupted, so. But the video is coming. I will say the next one is about Jujutsu Kaisen. So if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen and you liked my first myths, folklore, and anime video, please stick around because that one is coming soon. So let me know, what did you guys think of the last 2 episodes? For me personally, they were okay at best. They just, not a lot happened. And let me know what you thought. And what do you expect to happen now that we're like halfway through the show? Do you think it's going to get better? Do you think we're about to see some real action? Do you think... Because, a few episodes ago, we got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And that was like a little less than halfway through the show. What other surprises are in store for us? That's, there's got to be more, right? So, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope things are going to get better and pick up. And let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.